cuckoo is a pretty bird, and she warbles when she flies. Welcome to Hard Squeezins. I am your co-host fortnightly. I have a doctorate in 2nd century Armenian didactics, and I'm here with my co-host, as well as Prudy and Nudie, joining us on this podcast. Um, we'll be talking about post-scarcity and whether or not we live in a post-scarcity time, and what does that mean to us. So, Wyatt, my co-host, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I'm Wyatt. I got opinions.
Very good. That's why we're here. So you don't think we live in a post-scarcity time, but I do.
Absolutely not.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean, it's
Sorry to
economics.
interrupt. Before we do that, though, do you want to just quickly tell people what post-scarcity means?
Oh. Well, I don't know what it means, but I have a very strong opinion on it.
By definition, by definition, economics is the study of scarcity. If you don't have scarcity, you don't have actual economics. It's like a math without numbers. Like you can make one. It's just kind of a theoretical thing. Real world economics is scarcity. Scarcity
Okay,
means that.
I
Wait,
gotta.
I'm not done.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so basically we have needs and desires, and then we have stuff that fulfill needs and desires. And the way that everything works with human beings is there's a couple stories that illustrate it, but just to be really quickly, we have infinite desires, maybe finite needs, but infinite desires and finite resources. And that will always be true as long as there's humans. So because of that, that creates scarcity. Scarcity is when your resources don't meet your wants. So that's it.
That is excellent. I agree with that. So, man, you got a little crazy in your eyes. I saw Sam Hyde behind your eyeballs. You got intense on that explanation. It was a very good explanation.
I love Sam Hyde.
I guess I have to love him since he looks like me, or I look like him.
You and like a million other guys that look like Sam Hyde.
It's the being a 5 and having average features and average height and average weight. It's hard to tell white people apart. I can't tell us apart, so I
I'm
don't
gonna
really.
really dox you. Your skin is way better than Sam Hyde's, and your eating hygiene is like 1 point above it.
Yeah, those 2 bags of Swedish fish are just doing wonders. Wish
If you ever
everyone
watch
had
Sam
that
Hyde
diet.
eat, don't ever watch him eat. I don't know why he eats on.
Okay. So I think I know where your argument is going to come from if you're doing a very literal definition of scarcity. But let's talk about Star Trek first, right? Uh, in Star Trek, in their universe, they live in a post-scarcity time, and that's what they call it.
While we wait for him, I just wanted to throw out quickly because that was a great definition of scarcity in the frame of economics. But I just wanted to say post scarcity, define that specifically because when we mentioned this last time, I actually had never heard that term before, so I had to look it up. So I thought it would be helpful. And just a quick Google definition is basically a theoretical economic situation in which most goods can be produced in great abundance with minimal human labor needed, so that they become available to all very cheaply or even freely, which I think is what's setting up Fort's um, Star Trek reference, because in Star Trek, they're so advanced in the future, they can just replicate anything that's needed and no currency is required to get it. It's just so available. Anything you want to eat, even making instruments, tools, whatever, it can just be produced by a machine, and no human labor is required. So, do
Yeah,
you live in the days of Star Trek?
No, I actually agree with that. All those definitions, though, and I also agree with your definition of Star Trek and your viewership of Star Trek. So
Thank you. I really appreciate the support.
yeah, I think that's fine. But based on all that, the things that you just said, we don't live in that. That's simple. I don't know why it's debatable, but I mean, good thing we're debating.
We can't because we can't hear. Fort can't even stand up for himself right now.
Yeah, we're far from that society now. The only thing I think we replicate is just music and movies. And the closest technology, I guess, that comes out to that ideal that we want is like 3D printing technology.
Which
Test.
definitely ain't cheap. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
with
I was talking my head off.
digital goods, we can agree that we are, especially if you like take into account like torrents and all that pirate sites and all that kind of stuff. We kind of are in a post free software and stuff like that.
But that's only a
So
small segment of of the goods we have.
I agree 100% with that. I just wanted to, say that yes, if you wanted to argue post scarcity, that would be the strongest place to be. Steel manning.
So I wanted to talk more about Star Trek first, of course, and then I can kind of get into my argument of why I think we live in post-scarcity world. So in Star Trek, it's kind of idealized, like the way that people remember it. The way that people remember Star Trek is sometimes different than what Star Trek actually is, but it's romanticized in a way to be this idealized society that they live in where no one wants for anything because they're so energy abundant and everyone can get whatever they need. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't wants and desires that aren't being met because you still have hierarchies, you still have power structures, and so there are inequalities and jostling and people working to get what they want. So just because they live in post-scarcity times where anyone can get any material thing really, there's still economics of a sort, right? Like even though we can kind of make anything, I can't just replicate 500 million starships and take over the galaxy. There's still limitations in that system.
You can't replicate the planet.
Right. So even though everyone has like all their material needs, their immediate human material needs, it's still like you can't replicate love, right? There are all the humanity things you can't replicate. There's still desire and things that are not being met, temptation and envy and all of those things, and they do address that. So it's not like so perfect. Anyway, so thinking of is post scarcity like that, where it's all your material needs are met. I think we do live in those times because, and maybe I should contain this, I should scope this to say just the West or something like that, because all Western countries are socialist to a degree. We all have welfare and Medicaid and Medicare and all this stuff. So even if you have nothing, you can still get food, you can still get shelter, you can still get all your basic material needs met right now, which means we have enough energy abundance to soak up all those costs. So technically everyone in the West is post-scarcity because they don't have to work if they don't want to. You won't die if you don't work.
Whoa! You're throwing work in now. I never talked about work, and I'm not saying it's wrong or whatever, but I'm just saying that's like that seems like a shift as far as it.
We're certainly not working less.
I'm saying you don't have to produce. You don't have to be part of the economy in order to stay alive. So I would consider that post-scarcity.
Okay, so work is involved in. I'm asking.
Sorry.
I'm not telling you. I'm just asking the question.
You cut out. You said work is involved.
I'm saying now is does work need to be involved with when it comes to, is that related? So I'll give you an example. In a hunter and gatherer society, in a very small group as far as material resources go, in a natural environment where the hunter and gatherer is adapted to live in, he can actually get all of his resources too, right? Like that's not, and that's a long, long time ago. So with agriculture, a man could also, a woman, whatever, can also get their resources too. So
by doing no work.
So that's okay. That's you see where I'm going with this. Like,
Okay.
if we always lived in a post-scarcity time, if every society can be defined as living in a post-scarcity time, then the word post-scarcity has no meaning, or it's not interesting. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to
No,
define it.
I'm lost on this. Can anyone else chime in? Does anyone else know what he's trying to say?
I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Because I thought post scarcity is when all the resources you want are available to you. That wasn't available in a hunter gatherer society. There were limits.
Yeah, it was. What do you mean?
I mean, you didn't have abundance of food or water or shelter. There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind of
absolutely. You had all this. Absolutely.
I challenge that assertion.
Absolutely abundant.
there was food, but you couldn't get it when you wanted to. We were kind of scavenging for food.
If you look at like, okay, so the hunters and gatherers are a bad example of what hunter and gathering is, because those are the people that are like kind of the losers as far as, they got pushed to the fringes. The environments they're forced to live in aren't very good. So even in those like terrible like niche environments that they can
Okay.
survive on, like islands in the Pacific, they hunters and gatherers work like 4 hours a day.
Yes, I knew you were going to make that point. I knew you were going to make that point that in like the Bedouins and modern hunter gatherer type societies, nomadic societies, they work 20-hour work weeks or something like that to get all their needs met, right? To do their crafting of trinkets and skinning of animals and catching animals and gathering
and they have
herbs.
socialized healthcare.
Right, because the tribe looks after everyone
And
else,
they probably
right?
Because the medicine man will do the chicken dance for free.
Oh crap!
Okay. Now
I
I
mean,
think
that's what healthcare was in the time.
They had less diseases too. They dealt with like cancer
okay.
was an abundance.
That's why the doctors don't have to be that good.
Was an abundance.
I think I get your point now. So, because they had socialized medicine in that the tribe looks after its sick, they would be post scarcity. The children don't have to work in coal mines in a hunter gatherer society.
Dude, hunting and gathering is fucking fun. It's like one of the few jobs that people actually do as a hobby. Like, rich ass Joe Rogan, he doesn't have to hunt. He does that for his fucking fun. So like, even their quote unquote work is like our goddamn hobby. I mean, how many guys brag that they like fishing all the time? They're literally hunting and gathering for free, for fun.
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm not trying to be funny.
I get your point. Okay. Imagine
they don't have to do it. It's not an
I know they don't have to. I know they don't have to do it, but it's also for some people more difficult to actually do that. So like for one of us to be a hunter gatherer, it's possible. We have the material resources, but it's going to actually quote unquote cost us more. We can't just roll out of bed and start hunting. We have to get a license and all this bullshit. So in a lot of ways, it's actually they have, like, if hunting and fishing was like the resource, they have more of that scarce resource than we do. And again, I'm not trying to be difficult. Sorry, go ahead.
I said, yeah, but we have licenses that we have to buy to fish at certain lakes, but we also have better capital to help us gather more fish and make it fishing more efficient too. That's not available in a hunter-gatherer society.
Right, because I suck at fishing, and I can still eat fish every night if I want.
Yeah.
Right, I can just have it delivered to my door. I don't even have to leave my house. I don't even have to learn how to drive to fish it. So
Okay.
yeah, so as far as that goes, fishing is easier for me than a hunter and gatherer. True.
I now understand your argument, and I think it's a good argument. But I'd like to put something forward where imagine a fictional hunter-gatherer tribe, and yeah, they take care of pregnant women. Pregnant women are expected to work, right? They take care of the children. They take care of their ill. They take care of their elderly, right? All these things. So you have a social net um, during hard times or adverse circumstances. However, imagine a person in this tribe who just doesn't do anything. They just lay about, right? All they want to do is tan and skip rocks in the pond. Do you think that person gets exiled from the tribe?
If it's a male, yes. If it's a woman,
So,
Yeah.
I think that
well, if the
I
woman
guess,
doesn't put out, she'll get exiled. But if she has sex, then she's going to get pregnant. If she gets pregnant, and then if she has babies, if she has any normal like instincts at all, they'll kick in, and she'll take care of the baby. And now she's
well, right, but that's a value add, right? Having babies and raising them adds to the tribe, so you are contributing work. So malingerers and freeloaders in a hunter-gatherer society would be kicked out. You'd be exiled from the tribe, right? Because
absolutely, absolutely.
it's
In fact, a younger man who is sick would probably just voluntarily leave out of shit. Absolutely,
Yeah.
so
that's true.
it's understood in these societies that you do have to work in order to get the benefits of the social net, right? Like, yeah, we'll take
Yes.
care of you when you're sick because we know that you will also work to help us when you're not sick. So I don't think that's the same thing, but I think it is a good criticism. I wanted to put that out there in defense of my point. Let's get back to trying to define what
Yeah,
post-scarcity is.
let me can I just say one other thing is I'm not arguing with you and I'm not making points. I'm just trying to clarify your definition. I'm not naysaying your definition in any way.
Okay, well,
I feel like you guys have a valid point to make, and I feel like I'm just not getting it.
so let's go back to your definition of post-scarcity. Can you invent for us a society with conditions that you would consider post-scarcity?
She never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Gonna build me a log cabin on a mountain so high, so I can see Willie as he goes on by. Oh, the cuckoo is a pretty bird. She warbles as she flies. She